Okay, so anything that I say on this video that has to do with a spiritual practice, counseling, psychology, anything related to legal or financial matters, I'm not qualified in that area. I am a mystic and a shamanic counselor, and I am sharing my experiences, especially with now practicing and being led to Sanatana Dharma. Hello everybody. I'm making a video in the afternoon. Today is Wednesday, July 17th. Wednesday is the day of Ganesha, and before I go out to run my errands, I thought I would speak to you a little bit about Ganesha. I began working with Ganesha about a little over 4 years ago. I'd say January of 2020. And I had a couple of remarkable experiences with Ganesha. I believe that Ganesha has been with me for a very, very long time. I've talked about life path numbers and the deities that are connected to your soul. And it doesn't matter what you look like or where you're born, all right? Now, in my case, I've come to learn what Ganesha means and what Ganesha has done for me. So welcome to my channel. My name is Sabrina. I'm thinking about changing my channel name because as we evolve and grow, I've even changed my spirit name once, I believe. Things evolve, and it's not just about what you would call traditional witchcraft anymore. I'm on a path of Sanatana Dharma. Does this mean that I'm not a witch anymore or a witche? No, I still am a witche. My spirit guide told me that many years ago. I stepped on the goddess-based path. A witche is a healer. In my opinion, all the pagan systems are healing systems. All the gods and goddesses that were created or venerated as ancestors are used as a source of assistance to help us in our incarnations. That's healing. And sometimes it's physical healing, mental healing, emotional healing. So I'm thinking of changing my channel to Mystic Cauldron from Casting Cauldron. The issue that I'm coming across though today is that if I do that, I won't be verified anymore, which means I'll lose my ability to live stream. I don't want to start over, guys. It's taken me almost 7 years to get to this point. So I'm just going to kind of hold off on that for now until I get more information. If you know what I should do to change that, if I just need to re-verify, but again, that might mean I'm losing my ability to live stream if it's going to treat me like I'm a brand new channel again. Okay, so Sadhguru says his mother was a witch and that when she laughed, everything around her shook. He knows a witch is a witche is a healer. We study and use all of the healing modalities. Now, I am a shamanic witche and I am a medium. All my clairs are opened. When I was in my former studio apartment, I downloaded a voice app. I became very curious. And I actually wanted to hear my grandmother speak to me because I had been told Diamond was trying to get my attention with a pretty picture on the wall, and that the lady with long black hair had been trying to get my attention. And I thought, this has to be my grandmother. She was into art. She was a painter. She had paintings, and she had started a business with antiques and paintings. And so we showed the picture to Diamond, and she basically said, yeah, it looks, that looks like her, right? She's been trying to get your attention. So I loaded the app and I tried to listen how to use it. It was free, it wasn't bad. And I felt like if she wasn't on my bed, I tried pointing to the bed and I didn't get a response. I pointed to the sofa and I heard, "Hello, dear." And that's the kind of verbiage that my grandmother would use. I resemble her, too. She had black hair. She used to roll it up in pin curls so that she'd have this wavy hair. So I began to experiment with the app even more. She said, eventually I got the messages, the sentences coming through, that my father was in school learning how to communicate with me through my mind or my spirit and through the app. I believe he had been actually connecting to my familiar for years. I'd been told there's a man in your cat right now. And then my neighbor said, your father came through my cat and I have a message. So I think my grandmother was telling me he is in school learning how to communicate in different ways now through the app. I don't know if he came through or not, but one of the messages I got was choose one and follow Gun, G-U-N. They were trying to tell me, stick with one right now, follow Lord Ganesha. But I had been going on with so much with my drug dealing neighbors that I was severely stressed out and saw the word gun and I got scared and I stopped using the app at that point. Once I got through it and I moved to my new apartment, I started receiving the word lingam. Now I had already been working or honoring Ganesha, and just a simple honoring here, which is what the priest recommends at home, okay? I had been learning that Ganesha has a very large hippocampus, all right? Dr. Pillai says elephants have the largest hippocampus of any creature on the planet or any animal on the surface of the earth. He was talking about data and memory. He said Mark Zuckerberg fashioned his business Facebook on Lord Ganesha. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. The point is, it's about memory. What I came to learn was that Ganesha, or the hippocampus, is responsible for memory, short-term and even long-term. Long-term memory will be archived even further back into the subconscious mind, but the hippocampus is connected to the subconscious mind. And I've made a video that's about the mind and the memory. But here we're talking about a way to actually connect to a deity that can assist you in healing your hippocampus. So anyone who's ever gone through regular stress of any kind whatsoever can be helped with Ganesha. Because what happens is the amygdala gets larger. We need to balance this out. And it took about 4 years for me, just semi-regularly honoring Ganesha and chanting to Ganesha, to finally get the gate opened. Okay? Subconscious mind is a gateway to the soul. It's been a long time since I've had anything happen to me on a soul level, which is paranormal. On March 23rd, on the lunar eclipse, on a Saturday, a couple days before the onset of it actually, I had a dream connecting me to Shiva this time, not just Ganesha. 4 years after I began actually consciously really honoring Ganesha. And I had a soul clearing because Ganesha had been helping me learn about things that happened in my life, in my marriage, and in my childhood, about behaviors, about what was causing me a lot of anxiety and psychotic episodes and panic attacks, okay? These are symptoms of narcissistic abuse. And in my case, this is what had been happening to me. And it was through meditation, as I would return to meditation off and on in my life, that these things would be managed. Shiva is the symbol of meditation. And then, of course, there was the snake. So I don't know if you can see this, but in talking to the priest, as I've been going now for a couple of months, he said this is the best way to honor any deity at home. Keep it simple. He said your statue, your lamp, your little lingam, and on this, I've got this charger plate now from Dollar Tree. I'm also adding a flower. Let me just bring you over here, okay? You don't need to see me while I'm talking about this. There's the ring light in the TV. Let me see if I can lower this. Let me see if I can lower this. Okay, there. So when you have the oil lamp on the gold round plate, it's called an arti. But I have what I use for my oil lamp, which is an empty candle holder with vegetable oil, a floating cork wrapped in aluminum foil. I poked a hole in it. I bought some little tiny wicks from Hobby Lobby, and I stick it in there and I light it. The statue is from Pier 1 Imports, and the little lingam is from a New Age shop. I had a habit of just laying on my bed like this a lot of the times. Now, the flower is something extra that I've talked about recently. I have a shell here which relates to Shiva. I have a little cone incense burner, but you can stick a stick of incense in there to help draw spirit. And I have this incense stick holder here. I have a bell. And I have a picture that I printed off on my printer, and I got a sparkly frame for the Dollar Tree. And here I have my goblet, which I've always had for my altar, that I put purified drinking water and sea salt. It makes it electromagnetic. Okay. Now, he said all you really need to do is listen. And I told him I've really just listened to one mantra and learned how to repeat it. That's all I've ever done. And I've only done it a couple times a week. Sometimes I've done it 3 times a week. And I would usually do it as I went to bed and laid in bed. And I would pull up a video on my phone and listen. That's how I learned to speak the mantra, that language. What I've recently learned is that flowers, which I've always loved flowers. Flowers are considered, the priest told me, from the land of the gods and goddesses. In other words, heaven. When I was younger, after I'd been taught transcendental meditation, my dad would watch Maharishi Mahesh Yogi on TV, and he said flowers are from heaven. And he had lots and lots of flowers. What I'm learning now is that after you've done your veneration, your honoring, your connection to Ganesha, and your chant, however many times you want to do it, there's a way to do it, and I'll show you on another video. Just chant as much as you can. Get yourself in a state, and you have a flower that you've offered, and then you take that flower in your hand and you hold it, And preferably you hold it while you're chanting and connecting to Ganesha. When you are done, you speak a wish to the flower, and you put the flower on the deity's altar, at the feet of the altar or on the deity. And your wish will be granted, is what the priest said. Now, in my case, working with Ganesha, Ganesha knew best what I needed, and that was the healing of my hippocampus. In order to become even more aware, let's say keenly aware of toxic people, I had to go through another encounter that made me so riddled with anxiety, it was like a snake around my neck. And when I finally got through it, and I was at a point where I knew I was going to have to move. And I had been remembering things in my marriage and things in my childhood, and I was looking and seeing what those things were and understanding there's a name for those behaviors. They need to be named, they need to be labeled. And gaining this insight, gaining this knowledge, gaining this wisdom, I became aware of the fact that I was attracting these types of people. And even though I had resisted, and I never encountered, and I never got involved, there was definitely a temptation. So, being trained as an emotional caregiver was pulling on my heart. At the lunar eclipse, when the gate opened and my soul felt a connection to Shiva and Vasuki, the head was attached back to my body. And I began to see this person and in their vicinity to me, and I began to think with my head and not my heart. Do not try to make peace. Do not try to communicate. Do not try to initiate anything with him. That's what he wants. Even if you let him know you're not okay with the things he's been doing, just let him be. Now I'm thinking with my head and not my heart, because I know I don't have to do that. If someone needs to apologize to you and they don't, let it be. And so this is why now I'm speaking about what it means to heal from stress, from narcissism, and understand you have the right to say no and to be yourself and not fall back into these old patterns and these old habits that aren't going to do you any good. So for me, it took 4 years. And then when the time came and the lunar eclipse was in the right place, you know, with Ketu and Rahu, Rahu became a stronger energy, which is called the head of the snake. My north node attached to my south node, and the head came onto the snake. It's really, I think, that simple. I'm now thinking with my head and not just my heart. No one can pull on my heartstrings, and certainly no one can, sweet talk me in the morning and then pat me on the head in the afternoon and insult me, because I'm keenly aware. And I am very, very grateful that I'm born into the soul group of Ganesha and Shiva, and I'm learning about Sanatana Dharma. This is what I have for you today, and I hope that you will at least learn about the beauty of this philosophy, which is a healing modality. It is a healing system. That's my personal opinion. Let me bring you back over here. Basically, that is it for today. I will be sharing with you more as I continue to learn about this beautiful healing system called The Way, the philosophy of Sanatana Dharma. Namaste.